All right, so for our 200th episode, we have Rachel and Mackenzie. Mackenzie edits the video. Rachel does social. They are coming on to talk about this show and what we've learned in 200 episodes. All right, ladies, how are we doing? Good. Are you going to look at me? Or are you just
no, I don't know. I never know how to sit. Like, it's
awkward. It makes you look fat. I know.
Far back, yeah.
Okay. All right, so what have you learned? You've been with me all 200? Pretty close.
Pretty close, yeah.
Probably like 160, 170?
Probably. Because I started when you were doing on Zoom still.
Yep.
I was in Chicago still.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Rachel,
a lot of them.
what have you learned? What have you loved the most, learned the most? What have you loved, learned, and liked the least?
So I've loved that I feel like I have I don't think in any other job in the world I would be doing as much so quickly. Like, running a total brand is kind of crazy. So I love that I come here and I'm given like all this like not power, but like I feel like I can be very like free with how I create your brand. What I don't like all the time is that like things I do and don't like. I don't like that it changes all the time, and I do like that it changes. Like, you talk about a lot how like we're always raising the bar and like the goalpost is always moving. So that kind of makes it hard sometimes to like know if and where we're doing a good job. And so sometimes I just like feel like we're like trying to like keep our heads afloat, and that makes me feel a little bit on edge sometimes.
Yeah, okay. And what have you learned?
Oh my gosh, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about, I mean, like nitty gritty stuff. Like, I've learned a lot about social. I've learned a lot about production. I can now like, before this job, I didn't know how to edit in Premiere. Now I can do that like semi well. I don't know. I've learned like a lot from you and like this show, and like I've learned how to take something like a brand, like your page, and turn it from like, this isn't a podcast page, this is a brand, and like create a whole economy and like kind of community. So I think that's cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a cat, and you look just like my cat.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm like kind of insulted.
No! It's the cutest cat ever.
Okay, fair.
I mean, it's gorgeous,
Fair,
cat.
okay.
But the cat... I swear...
I've never gotten that one. Actually, recently someone told me I looked like Drew Barrymore, so that was better than the cat, but
no,
I'll take
this
the cat.
Cat is gorgeous, and I'm convinced the cat just controls everything with its mind. It's always there, and then it's just
cats do.
Very quiet, and then just looks at you just the same way you look right now. Okay.
So
on that note,
yes.
Okay. What have you loved, learned, and liked the least?
Oh my
Mackenzie.
gosh. Okay. I don't know. What I've loved is working with you, because you're obviously like very high up at this company. So it's cool to like
Mid-level.
see your
Okay. The highest striving.
Yeah, maybe the highest.
Trying to make it. Yeah. Actually the garbage person.
And so it's really cool to be a part of your daily life and like see the tasks that you do every day, and like how busy like I was thinking about it, like the schedule today was so packed, and you're just like literally without even a minute in between, you're just walking from the next room to the next studio to be on a call, and it's like so hectic, but it's really cool to see everything that like goes on behind the scenes. What were the other questions? Learned. Oh, what I've learned is how to like think on my feet again, because like today was very hectic, and like obviously your schedule is always changing, so it's kind of like you just have to adapt and learn to like live with the decisions you make and figure it out. And
that's annoying,
but it's good to know how to like react like that and have that quality. And then was that it?
Like the least
Is probably the schedule change
okay,
and everything,
but
again, I learned from it, so it's a good thing.
So you worked on Call Her Daddy before. Like, what's the similarities with Call Her Daddy, and what's the difference?
Well, the content for one is a little different.
Way less interesting.
And no, I wouldn't say less interesting, just different. But I don't know. I think the edits were very different, because like hers was very fast paced and like dramatic, and there would be like dun 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 in the promos, and who said this, who said that, and the guests were always like very different, but yeah, I think the content is like the main
difference.
Yeah, a little bit.
So we are you doing Q&A with me?
We have questions that we made, but
Oh, okay, great.
That's just backup if we.
Oh,
if we wanna
this
do
doesn't
that.
go well? Okay. All right,
So-
what do you got, Rach?
So here, I take notes by texting myself things. I don't use my. Okay, so my first question is, it's kind of a Q&A, but you always talk about like faking it till you make it and like the importance of that. So how do you know when you're actually doing that / or when you're like actually in over your head? Like what's the difference between faking it till you make it or I'm actually over?
You're just fucked.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is a good question. So I actually had this conversation with my friend Jenna last night. So one is that I think it's really easy for anybody. I think women say it for them, but like I was talking about joining the WWE board and how when I first joined, I felt very intimidated. I was nervous. I was insecure. I was unsure of myself, and I didn't know the rules. And they had a board that was very like this is how you do things. And to be fair, I needed to learn the way. I'd never been on a public company board. When it is a public company board, you have a duty to shareholders. It's serious, right? Like it's serious. So I felt like that for me was a little bit of a fake it till you make it moment of like, fuck, I don't really know what I'm doing. And I feel uncertain. And I'm me, which is kind of messy.
Yeah.
And I'm getting like chastised for being late or not doing things the right
Not,
way
like,
or saying the right things. But then over time, what I realized with that board is how much I love it, how comfortable I am, how much I have to say, and how much value I think I can add. And that's been like so incredible. So one thing I think is if you're in a fake it till you make it scenario, you got to give yourself a little bit of time because everybody at the beginning of something is faking it. Do you know what I mean? And and maybe we need a better word than fake it till you make it. I think in over your head though is like my friend and I were talking about scenarios where we both found ourselves in over our head. And I think one of the places you get to when you're in over your head is when you take on too much responsibility or too much responsibility. And then you're like, oh God, I'm actually not good at this. And it's too late and I'm in a corner. And I think this can happen in your personal life a lot. Like I find it happens a lot for me in my personal life. I have more business experience than I do sometimes I think life experience. So it's like I find myself in the in over your head scenario way more in my life than I do at work, if that makes sense.
It does.
Do you feel that way?
I felt that way when I started here. I don't know about personal life. Like sometimes yes, like kind of like making plans with people and then the plans come up and you're like, I don't actually want to go because I don't know what I'm going to talk to this person about. But I felt that way when I started here because like when I started it was like me and Jordan and that was it. And like no one was making clips and I was like, oh, well, I have to stay up every night and learn how to make the clips. And I was like, I actually can't do this. Like, what if they're not up in time? And so like, you kind of just figure it out.
You either figure it out or you have to ask for help. And I think the worst thing you can do when you're in over your head is to suffer in silence and not say anything. Everybody knows you're in over your head.
Yep.
So let's be clear. Like you think you're the only one that knows you're in over your head.
Like,
you're
yeah,
not.
everyone's
Everybody knows
aware.
you're in over your head. And then two, it's like you have to be vulnerable and ask for help.
Yeah.
And then you have to, I struggle with this a little bit. You have to actually change. Like you have to be like, I relinquish control.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to be taught. Or I'm going to stop this bad pattern that I have at work or at life. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. I feel the same way too. I mean, I studied like television, radio in school, so I knew the editing and production side, but I never really worked with like cameras and stuff. So it was similar where they were just like, okay, go in the studio and set it up, and then
Like,
I would just like figure it out, and then I would literally ask a different person every day because I was like embarrassed to keep asking the same people. So I would
That's
just
a
like,
great
and I would
skill.
ask like a different person some new
Like a little
technique.
10% different question.
Yeah, and then I would like take photos and videos, and I would just kind of like, and I still barely know how to use them.
Are we ready?
I think there's a lot more things that I can learn still. But like I just like, it's kind of like you just get thrown into it and you're like, all right, I just got to figure it out. So I will.
I also think Google is a great resource.
Oh,
Like,
Oh,
YouTube.
I know.
I
just
learned everything
Google
on
it.
YouTube.
I feel like I had to start taking a medication recently, and then I was like, fuck, I don't know how to take this medication. And then I was like, I also think, sorry, I fall victim to this. My mother does this all the time. Everyone I know does this. But like, you know, when you try something just a little bit and then you give up and ask for help, where it's like, oh, I can't get this. I can't get the jar open.
Yeah.
I can't figure this out. I think all of us have a tendency to do that one thing versus like, okay, I'm going to keep at it until I figure it out. Or if you just Google things, you can find so much information.
Anything.
I'm reteaching myself how to play piano. I played for 12 years and then I stopped for like 8 years and now I'm like, I don't remember. And I sat down, I started crying because I was like, how do I forget this? I played for so long. And then I started Googling it and I was like, oh, I can do this.
I Googled how to like use I got a new curling iron. I bought
it looks great.
without knowing how to use it. I'm like, oh, I'll figure it out. Just Googled it. Like 2
and
days before a wedding I had, I'm like, well, I got to figure out how to use it so I can get my hair done. But yeah, just YouTube.
Just Google it.
Tutorial. Okay, mine is similar to yours though. What's your favorite thing and your least favorite thing about being the CEO at Barstool?
Oh. My favorite thing is the people. I love the people here. I love this place so much. I love the people. I learn so much. I like delight in it. Like I saw Dana Beers in the hallway today. I gave Dana Beers a hug. I was so happy.
He has a girlfriend now.
He does?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I know, right? Wiped up.
She can like drink beers on the mattresses on the
Exactly.
balcony
Yeah.
as far as I can tell.
imagine?
So I really love the people and I love the culture we've created. Like I love that you two can get thrown into jobs and have no idea what the heck you're doing and come out with something amazing. To be part of that is amazing. What I like the least is it's just so much. It's just, it's very hard to get out from under it. Like I try to set boundaries. I try to take time off. I try to like shut my phone off when I get home. And I don't know if it's something I don't like in myself or I don't like about what we've created here, is that it's very hard to have it's so big, it's so alive, it's so on the edge that having any boundaries is tough.
It becomes like we're friends with these people. So it's like everything becomes part of your life. And you can't get away from it if you're so obsessed with it.
I don't have friends here the way you guys do. Like, I like that you're all friends.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. I think that's actually very dangerous for where you are in your life. That like your whole world starts to orbit around this place. I think that's super unhealthy.
Oh, it's not my whole. It's literally just these two.
Okay, that's fine. You can be friends with these.
Do you have a favorite, back to the people really quick, do you have a favorite content person? You probably can't say this, but like who you think is like, the funniest? I mean, I feel like a lot of people do.
Oh, who's the funniest?
Yeah,
I
like
don't
the funniest.
know who the funniest is.
Or like, did you have somebody before you started working here that you really liked?
And I always really liked Dave.
Just Dave, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Dave is wickedly funny.
Yeah.
I can't get enough of his accent. I love his accent. I do. I just love it. I love his voice. I love it. But it's also like I just saw Little Sass and I was like, Little Sass. Another person chirps me on Twitter about how much
Oh, well, don't get on Twitter then because they already are.
Because I said it.
Yes.
I said I'm going to dock his pay by $5. So
Oh my gosh.
He tweets me about Little Sass getting paid. But I'm like, we'll see how good this show is. So anyway.
I have a last question. It's
Okay.
what's your favorite part about each one of us on your team?
Oh, I love that. Okay. Okay.
Mine's that I look like a cat, I think.
No, my cat, which is the best cat.
Okay.
Let's be specific.
Yes, okay.
I mean, I'm going to show you a picture of this cat. This cat is the
Put it
cutest
in the
thing.
episode
I
too.
can't
Yeah,
wait.
it's
We'll
the
put a comparison.
cutest thing I've ever seen. Okay, so my favorite thing about Rachel is how far you've come, and I think your commitment to the community is really like amazing, and I love how you take risks. Like, we always have a text of like, hey, can I? And then I don't answer you for like 2 hours. And then you're like, oh, I just did. And you're always right. I think the voice you've created is really amazing. And to watch you develop in that has been really inspiring. I love that.
Thank you.
Mackenzie, I think you're just so gifted at what you do. And I love how like silently, munchkinly determined you are. Like you're so quiet but you know you're thinking and then you're just like doing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I love that about you.
Thank you.
I think you can do anything you want in your life that you set your mind to. I think your mind is so strong.
Real
Thank
G's work in
you.
silence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
like, yeah,
Lorenzo,
exactly.
I love that. You know what I like? I was talking about Lorenzo last night because I obviously was kind of hard on Lorenzo last week. And I was like, and I was up your asses on Slack this weekend. And I was like, I have ideas. I want this thing. I want this thing. And then I'm like, where the fuck is Lorenzo? Like, he's not writing me back. He's not on Slack. He's not answering me. He must not care.
No.
Oh my gosh.
But then I had this realization yesterday morning, which was exactly what I love about Lorenzo, which is that he's so thoughtful.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
he's going to think about it and internalize it and process it. And then, like, I was like ready to come in Monday being like, oh, we got to do all this stuff. And then it was like, voila, it's everything you wanted, but better.
Yes.
And this is smarter than you had to begin with. And it's just so lovely and thoughtful. I think you're so thoughtful.
That is so nice.
That's why I wanted to ask. I was like, we're going to make ourselves feel good today.
Oh,
That's like so sweet.
Yeah.
it's only downhill from here.
Yes.